So this is a video I've been wanting to make about suicide. I think it's a topic that is often not talked about, or not, is kind of taboo. People don't like to address it. Also has a lot of negative stigma attached to it. A lot of people believe that if you kill yourself, you are a coward, that you're a loser, that you're destined for eternal hell. I myself been a victim to a family member committing suicide that was very close to me, and it's something that I've struggled with myself, dealing with wanting to end my life, not wanting to live, not finding aspirations or goals or things that I found that could keep my attention and that could keep me in tune with the aspect that is living. A lot of times we are driven by things we want to accomplish, things we love, people we love. When you grieve, when you lose a loved one, sometimes that's one of the main things that takes that joy or that life out of someone, to where they don't want to live anymore. So a lot of heartbreak and grief can put somebody in despair and not want to live, be suicidal. For me, I've been in a situation where I've been cheated on, and I put a lot of faith in a person. I was betrayed, caught off guard, so that just set my world, in a turmoil. So I think that's something that sent me to a rock bottom at a time when I was already at a rock bottom. Meaning I was already striving and struggling, just trying to make ends meet, having problems with the law, having a case, fighting a case in court, and looking at time behind the walls, having time away from my family, time, my freedom taken from me, losing my housing, becoming homeless and sleeping on people's couches, from one couch to the next, to sometimes having to sleep on bus stops or even homeless shelters. So you rely on one person as the only person giving you hope. Your partner, your loved one, your wife or your girlfriend, and she goes and turns with another man. I think that was the last straw for me, and made me want to blow my brains out. A lot of people would have looked at that, that's some coward shit. Everybody lives their own turmoils. Everybody goes through their own pains. You do not feel another man's pain. You can empathize with another man, but you cannot feel that other man's pain. Me, I done got stabbed the fuck up, had open heart surgery. Only I can feel that pain. Only I can walk these shoes. So, yeah, my opinion is not that suicide is a cowardly act. I believe it's one of a person with options ran dry, or options, not present, or just a complete heartbreak. For one, I don't believe that if you kill yourself that you will go to hell, because nowhere in the Bible does it say that. In the Bible, it is never said anything such as there a purgatory, or that if you kill yourself, then that's the absolute, unforgivable sin, because it's not. I also believe that Judas, the one that betrayed Jesus, such as all the other apostles that betrayed Jesus, are also with Jesus. That was one of the forms that one of the apostles betrayed Jesus, in the form of snitching on him and then fucking killing himself. Ultimately, he still has a place in heaven. That's the whole That's the whole ground game for what Jesus was doing. Was no matter what the sin was, no matter how dirty you were, how fucked up your life was, and how much fucked up shit you did, he took everybody. As long as you chose and you believed and you gave up everything to follow him. So, in Judas's case, I believe that he felt very guilty for what he did. I believe that was him killing himself was a form of, feeling, not being able to live with yourself. So that's huge guilt and shame. So if that ain't enough to show that he was remorseful for what he did, then I don't know what else is for you to take your own life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do believe Judas is in heaven with Jesus. I'm not God, so I can't say for it, but that's just my observation. That's my opinion. So based on that example alone in the Bible, therefore anybody else that is a believer, if they were to get into this bottom pit where you just can't get out of, and you somehow fall, it doesn't mean you automatically going to hell. Now this has nothing to do with this though. That I'm getting off topic. The importance of this video is to let other people know that if you know somebody, or if you have a family member that's in despair, that's having heartbreak, that's feeling suicidal, there's only so much a person can say, but there are certain things that you do not want to tell a person, such as don't do it. I think that's one of the worst things you could tell a person that's feeling suicidal, to tell them not to do it. Like if the person hasn't thought about this themselves, and you just gave them this supreme knowledge of you shouldn't do it. So it's just it's very unnecessary. There's no need for that. I think the person that's feeling suicidal, the main important thing that person needs, if it's a family member, if it's your friend, they need to be heard. They need you to listen to them. They need to get whatever they got going on off their chest. Just airing it out, venting, all that's very useful. So having somebody that's going to listen and helps you to talk about what you're going through, what you're feeling, and for that other person to empathize with you, does a lot. It helps a lot. It lets the person release energy, and it also allows the other person for the person to be feeling suicidal to feel like somebody actually cares. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the times that's what the person feels when they want to kill themselves, is that they feel like, you know what, nobody even gives a fuck. Or a female that needs help, a woman, that wants to kill herself, and to genuinely feel like somebody actually cares for her, and that she actually has hope and something to live for. So I would just say stay away from telling people don't do it. Stay away from telling them what to do. Just listen to them. Let them talk. Let them talk about how they feel. Try to help them, see things in a clearer view. Sometimes it's not so, it's dry cut. It's like sometimes there really is no options. But maybe talking to you, maybe you can bring something to their attention that they didn't think of before. It was really hard. What pulled me out of that was, for one, I went and I reached out to family members. I reached out. I had a cousin that I was really close to at the time, and I had my brother that I was close to at the time. It's my brother. He's the one that's passed away. He committed suicide. And it's just like it's just so fucked up. Because he helped me in the time when I told him that I was suicidal, and he related with me that he struggled with suicide. With his girlfriend, when his girlfriend left, or they were splitting up, early in his younger years. So he had struggled with suicide, and he was into driving motorcycles. He started driving the motorcycle, and he said, I would push that motorcycle so fast just to see if I could kill myself, because I didn't care.
You know, if I was gonna run into a wall and I was gonna die, it's like fuck it, who cares? Like that motorcycle was giving him an avenue to pursue that made things very unsafe and pushed the limits, and he was okay with it. You know, because he was on that mentality that it was like death had an open invitation. It's like, you know, I welcome death. Yeah, I reached out to my brother, and he flew out of state, and he came out here just to be with me, just to for me to have someone. You know what I'm saying? So that took a lot from him, but he knew that it was important. He knew that, you know, that this was a real possibility. I could end up killing myself. So he went out of his way to come be by my side. And I think that that's one important thing, is that, you know, when somebody is suicidal, and if you don't even live that far away, you know, get right over there, man. Like get to where they're at. You know, just being over the phone isn't enough. Like human touch, you know, human interaction, you know, is way more than just, you know, relying on this technology bullshit. Like, you know, get close to them. You know, human touch. You know, a hug. You know, that feeling that somebody fucking cares. So, you know, he did that for me. You know, the fact that later on, you know, he didn't come to anybody. He didn't go to anybody to tell them, you know, that he was going to do that. You know, I heard he told somebody, but I was never aware of it. If I'd have been aware of it, I would have showed up right away. You know, like cause that's really how you deal with something like that. You got to be present immediately, and you got to show support. You know, no judgment. It's just support. You know, you got to empathize with the person. You don't go there to tell them, oh, you're wrong for what you're doing, or what you're doing is wrong, or this. It's not about that. It's about being there for that person. It's about hearing them out and telling them, like look, just be patient. Like let time pass. You know, time passes and things change. Things go from good to bad to worse to better to it just keeps evolving. So time will pass and things will be different. So at this moment it may be hard as fuck, but if you give it time, it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna. It can't. It never will. Like things are never the same.